Happening now, more protests popping up around the valley over the death of George Floyd. A march ended earlier this afternoon in Brownsville's Lanier Park, and that's where we find Channel 5's Rudy Midelis. Rudy, what's going on out there?
Well, Christine, we're at Lanier Park, like you said, where a march began at around 3:30 this afternoon, where 300 people stepped off towards the Brownsville Police Department, making their way then after that to the Cameron County Courthouse, where they sat in silence for 8 minutes in the honor of George Floyd, the Minneapolis man who was killed last week in an encounter with police. Now, after the silent sit-in, the group made their way back here and to the park, where several different people from the community have spoken about the death of George Floyd and what it meant not only to them, but for how it reflects in the community as well. Now, not speaking to the crowd, but here in a show of support, Cameron County Clerk Sylvia Garza-Perez says those on social media and around the area who say this doesn't affect the valley because of our racial demographics aren't really thinking about their neighbors.
And I'm here because I'm a grandmother, I'm a mother, and I'm a member of this community. I have a grandson that's a quarter black, and you know, he doesn't look Mexican, he looks black, and I love him. I don't care what color he is. He's my blood, he's my grandson, and I think that what these kids are doing here today is the right thing to do.
Now, the event has been peaceful as organizers told protesters to single out anyone causing any destruction, taking part in any vandalism or any violence in the area. And also along the route, Brownsville police have not only cleared the route for, in the streets, making sure traffic is clear, but they've also provided several coolers full of water bottles, handing out water bottles 4 or 5 at a time, going back to the cooler and doing the same thing in succession, pretty much the entire duration of the event so far. Now, the event is scheduled to run until 7 p.m. or until sundown, according to the organizers, who also told us that this is most likely the first of many events to come to the city in the future. Live in Brownsville, Rudy Midelis, Channel 5 News at 6.
Justice for George! Justice for George! Justice for George! Justice for George!
This was a scene in Harlingen earlier today, day 2 of protests in that city. About 20 participants back at the same spot as yesterday, Harrison Avenue near 3rd Street.